The dust of the Outer Rim never truly settles.
For generations, it's been a frontier of opportunity, a place where fortunes are made and lost.
But with that freedom comes a darker side.
Lawlessness,
Piracy.
factions we call the Outlaws, preying on the weak, disrupting the vital trade routes that are the lifeblood of our colonies.
For too long, they operated with impunity, striking from hidden bases, melting back into the asteroid fields and desolate moons before any real response could be mounted. But times are changing. The United Earth Federation is no longer just defending. We're taking the fight to them. This is the story of Operation Serpent's Fang, and U Doctrine in action, a testament to the youth's commitment to precision warfare. Our intelligence was good, a rare commodity in these parts. We tracked a major outlaw fleet, commanded by the notorious warlord Kierlan, to a nebula known as the Ghost Shroud.
It was a perfect hiding spot, a chaotic maze of dense gas, electromagnetic interference, and rocky debris. A conventional assault would be a meat grinder. We'd lose ships before we even made contact.
Kierlan was counting on that. He thought the Shroud made him untouchable. He was wrong. The UEF doesn't just rely on brute force.
We rely on strategy, on using the right tool for the right job.
And for this job, we had a whole new toolbox.
The first phase of Serpent's Fang relied on stealth and surgical strikes. Our vanguard wasn't a fleet of battleships, but a squadron of Jackal-class corvettes. These aren't your typical frontline brawlers. They're fast, agile, and equipped with state-of-the-art sensor jammers. Their mission: to slip into the Ghost Shroud undetected and deploy a network of advanced sensor buoys. This would be our eyes and ears, cutting through the nebula's interference, painting a clear picture of Kierlan's deployments.
The Jackal pilots are some of the best in the fleet. They navigated the treacherous asteroid fields with a dancer's grace, their engines running cold to avoid detection. It was nerve-wracking work. One wrong move, one stray sensor ping, and the whole operation would be compromised.
As the sensor net came online, the tactical map back on the command carrier, the UEF variant, began to populate.
We saw them, a whole fleet anchored around a retrofitted mining station Kierlan had turned into his fortress. He had cruisers, destroyers, and swarms of smaller fighter craft.
But his defenses were oriented outwards, expecting a frontal assault. He hadn't accounted for an enemy already inside his perimeter.
This is where the adaptability of the youth unit diversity comes into play.
We don't just throw everything at the wall to see what sticks.
Each unit has a purpose.
With the enemy's layout exposed, phase 2 began.
We didn't send in the big guns. Not yet. Instead, we deployed squadrons of Phantom-class bombers.
These bombers are unique. They're equipped with void charges, weapons designed not for raw destruction, but for strategic disruption.
The Phantoms,
guided by the live data from our sensor net, targeted key infrastructure.
They didn't hit the warships.
They hit the refueling depots.
They hit the primary communications array on the station.
They hit the command and control links for his drone fighter wings.
Each explosion was a precise, calculated blow.
We weren't trying to sink his fleet. We were trying to blind and deafen it. We were severing the head of the snake. Panic began to ripple through the outlaw comms channels we were monitoring. Their fighters were launching without proper guidance. Their cruisers were trying to power up their main drives, only to find their fuel lines had been vaporized. Kierlan was raging from his command center, but his orders were lost in a sea of static. He was a king in a castle with no windows and no doors.
He was trapped. Only then, with the enemy in disarray, did we commit our main force. But even this wasn't a conventional charge.
We split our attack into 2 prongs, a classic pincer movement designed to maximize confusion and prevent any organized escape.
The first prong was led by our Paladin-class destroyers.
These ships are the workhorses of the UEF fleet.
They're tough, versatile, and pack a significant punch with their railgun batteries and missile pods. Their job was to engage the disorganized outlaw cruisers, tying them down, forcing them into a fight they weren't prepared for. The paladins formed a firing line, a wall of steel and energy, systematically dismantling the heavy enemy ships one by one. Their disciplined fire control was a stark contrast to the wild, panicked volleys of the Outlaws.
Simultaneously, the second prong struck from the opposite flank.
This force was built around our nimble striker-class frigates. Escorted by swarms of interceptor fighters, their mission was to hunt down and eliminate the smaller, more agile Outlaw ships that were trying to flee or regroup. The strikers are masters of wolfpack tactics, coordinating their attacks to isolate and overwhelm individual targets.
The sky, or what passed for it inside the nebula, became a chaotic ballet of dogfights and torpedo runs. Our pilots, trained for this exact kind of multi-vector combat, held the advantage.
This multi-pronged, combined arms approach is the core of our new doctrine. It's not about which ship is the biggest. It's about how they work together. The Jackals provided the intel, the Phantoms created the opening, and the Paladins and Strikers exploited it.
Every unit played its part in a symphony of destruction.
Keelan's fleet was being systematically taken apart, piece by piece, without a single UEF capital ship having to trade broadsides in a slugging match.
But Keelan still had one last card to play.
His fortress, the station itself, was heavily armed. Its supercharged point defense cannons capable of shredding any ship that got too close. A direct assault would be costly. This is where the true hammer of the UEF falls. This is where we demonstrate overwhelming dominance. The core went out, launched the Archangels from the cavernous hangar base of the UEF Valiant. They emerged. AC-5 Goliaths, massive, heavily armored gunships we affectionately call Archangels.
They aren't fast. They aren't agile. They are flying fortresses, bristling with an absurd amount of firepower.
Their primary role is air support and strategic dominance, and they excel at it. An Archangel entering a combat zone changes the entire tactical equation.
Slowly, deliberately, the Archangels advanced on Keelan's station. The Outlaw point defense cannons opened up, a storm of flak and laser fire filling the space around the gunships. But the Archangels are built to withstand this. Their heavy armor and layered shielding absorb the punishment, shrugging of hits that would have crippled a destroyer.
As they closed the distance, they unleashed their own arsenal.
It wasn't a precise strike. It was a deluge, a continuous, overwhelming barrage of cannon fire, plasma repeaters, and rocket pods.
They didn't target specific systems on the station. They targeted entire sections.
The firepower was so immense, so concentrated, that the station's defenses were simply saturated and obliterated. Under the cover of this immense bombardment, our marine assault shuttles, the hoplites, moved in.
They latched onto the station's howling areas the Archangels had softened, and our troops stormed inside. The battle for the station was fierce but short. The demoralized Outlaws, cut off from their leader and watching their fortress crumble around them, quickly surrendered.
Keelan was captured on the bridge, staring in disbelief at the tactical display, showing the utter annihilation of his forces. He never understood what hit him.
He was prepared for a battle of ships, but we gave him a lesson in precision warfare.
Operation Serpent's Fang was a resounding success. We dismantled one of the most powerful outlaw factions in the sector with minimal UEF casualties. From the stealth of the Jackals to the overwhelming power of the Archangels, every unit fulfilled its designed role perfectly.
This is the new face of the UEF.
We are the shield of the colonies, the guardians of peace.
And for those who would threaten that peace, who would hide in the shadows and prey on the innocent, know this: we have the tools, we have the will, and we will find you. We will be precise, we will be relentless,
and we will prevail.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this look into UEF strategy, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more.
Until next time, stay safe out there.